one look at this grille and these headlights, and I don't even need to tell you which brand manufactures this vehicle. But what does Jeep do to keep up with an automotive market that is continually electrifying itself? Well, naturally, they put a battery in, keep all the same design and style that Jeep lovers have come to know and enjoy over the years. And that's exactly what Jeep's done. Here we have the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. Now, this is a plug-in hybrid electric Jeep, but it looks absolutely normal. They did not reinvent the wheel, and I am a huge fan of it for that. Now, Niall and Victor already took a look at this pretty extensively a couple of months ago, but they had the Willys trim. Here I have the Rubicon, which is a couple levels above that. You can see that by my painted fenders, and also the thing that stands out is I have that steel bumper up front with the worn winch. So I can get anybody, including myself, out of a pinch, out of a ditch, no matter what. Now let's take a look under the hood. I have a 2-liter turbo plug-in hybrid engine that is going to make 375 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque with the battery combined. Now, I mentioned the battery. We have a 17 kilowatt hour battery that can do about 34 kilometers of range on a single charge. You can also charge this thing in up to 2 hours if you have a fast charge available. If not, it takes about, like, for me, it's been taking like 10 to 12 hours roughly from zero. And it does deplete pretty quickly because it's a heavy vehicle, right? You really need this thing to get up and go. Now, I mentioned that steel front bumper. You can actually take off some of the sides for that steel front bumper in case you're rock climbing or you're rock crawling in a narrow environment and you need maybe a different approach angle for the tires. You can actually remove some of that. And this worn winch can haul up to 8,000 pounds, which is really fantastic. This thing is just heavy duty. Another fantastic thing that I have that I don't think Niall or Victor got to see is I have a My Sky roof. Basically, their roof, they had a bunch of clips and they had to take them off one by one. Not on the Rubicon. You just press the button and this roof just folds into itself and you can have the sky over your head, and it is absolutely fantastic. Although it's raining now, so I can't actually use it right now. So it's a little bit unfortunate when you're in bad weather. Now, this Jeep doesn't come without its price tag, and this is where most people I've shown this vehicle leave their shoes, because when I tell them it costs $92,000 to own one of these things, yeah, that's when they kind of leave their bodies, because it is a very expensive price point. Niall's was around the $70,000, so that is, again, expensive. So let's get this thing out on the road. I'm gonna talk about the design, I'm gonna talk about interior, talk about tech, and tell you everything I think about this 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. Okay, out of the rain now with the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe on the road where it's meant to be. Not on the off-road. I think it's more meant to be on the off-road side of things versus the on-road, say the normal roads, because I do think that, like, you know, the steering is a little bit meh, and we'll get to all that stuff in a little bit. But first I want to talk to you about the design, because I didn't do the walk around, because I just want to mention it quickly. I like the fact that I have the painted fenders on my side. I also like the fact that it's red. It's got nice blue accents. The light blue accents really shows like the electrification of it. It adds, like I said, it adds that electrification to something that normally looks very rugged and stuff like that, but they add the, you know, they're keeping up with the times, Jeep, and I can't hate on that. I like the fact that you can see the hinges for things, that, you know, it's very noticeable that the doors can come off. I love the red color. I love the blue accents. I like that on the hood I have, like, you know, active vents and stuff like that. Road noise is going to be a thing. Massive tires on the outside of this thing as well. Now, I do have a little bit of performance here as well, because I do have motor and electricity combined. So I'm going to give it the brakes, and then we'll give it full blast. Actually, I have to turn it into 4 auto, otherwise I'm not going to get full power. So there we go. Now I'm going to give it full blast. Let's go. Boom. We're drifting. Hey, so like, you really do get the initial little kick from that, you know, little electric battery that's on board, and then the engine kicks in, it's ready to go, it's fully boosted up, and you just fly. But the thing is, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of why you really need to drive this thing off-road. It's more fun off-road, because when I was flooring it there, I'm just drifting, and I'm constantly having to make corrections like that when I'm going at high speeds. Also, when I do this with the steering wheel, car stays straight, nothing happens at high speeds. So highway speeds, you can kind of jig the steering wheel around, absolutely nothing happens. Obviously at low speeds it's fine, but the handling is something, leaves a lot to be desired. Also, like I said, you're gonna hear road noise like crazy. I actually think naturally with a soft top, you probably hear a lot more road noise than you might have heard in Niall's video where he had like a more hard top that was removable. I think the road noise is a little bit less. So now let's talk about interior quality, all that stuff. Like I said, $92,000. Let's see if they justify it. Let's see. So far, handling, not great. The outlook, styling, very good. I love it. I'm a huge fan of it. But let's talk about interior. So I love this steering wheel. I love that they continued the blue stitching on the interior. I've got it on the seats. I've actually got the Rubicon logo right embroidered on the seats, which I absolutely find fantastic and I absolutely love. But here's the thing. There's not a lot here. I mean, I don't have lane keep assist. I don't have things like that. I do have heated seats. I do have heated steering, stuff like that. But the one thing I found myself missing, especially in a car at this price point, is ventilated seats. I don't have any ventilated seating in here. So you might think, well, yeah, you don't need ventilated seating because you're gonna have the doors off most of the time in the summer, and you're just gonna be flashed with cool air. You're not gonna have a problem. But maybe it's really hot out and I'm just kind of sitting baking in the sun. Maybe I want a nice ventilated seating. All I'm saying is that at $90K, I feel like that's something that should be there. Other things that I like though, I know I've seen a lot of complaints that they didn't fully digitize the gauge cluster. Personally, I don't care about that. I actually have no problem with the fact that they didn't. I think it kind of keeps the Jeep style. Put a little screen in there. It's got all the information I could ever want on it. And then, keep the gauges there too, which is really nice. And you can also customize this little screen to like, really pinpoint all the information and get all the information in that you really want. So I think that's important too. So right now I can see my battery range and I can see my gas range and I can kind of see, fuel economy stuff. Right now we're looking at 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers, and that is current. That's actually average. So, that's me driving pretty much all week here. From the end of the week, I probably did about 250 kilometers at least this week so far. So there that is too. That's something also to take into account. So I also have a massive infotainment screen. The Wranglers in the past, they've kind of had like a smaller screen, but now they've really updated it. It's really fast. The software that it's running is very good. I believe it's called Uconnect. It's very, very solid. I've got all my apps. I've got like off-road maps. And then this is also where I'm going to access my front and back facing camera, and that's all you get. You do get parking sensors, which is nice, but you don't get like a 360 view. And it sucks because you're going to compete with brands like GM who are building their off-road kind of capable pickup trucks and stuff like that, and even some of the SUVs. They have cameras underneath. So I feel like Jeep's kind of missing the mark on that. Like really, if you really want the off-road luxury feel and you're going to charge people 90 grand for it, you need to have things like 360-degree camera with stuff underneath. I just want to be able to see everywhere, especially when I'm on like a narrow trail. I want to see exactly where my tires are, and unfortunately I can't really do that. So last but not least, let's touch on how this thing is to drive, how comfortable is it, and everything in between in that side. So comfort-wise, very, very nice. It is such a smooth ride. You wouldn't expect it to be. The couple of people that I've taken in this car said that, I wouldn't expect it to be as smooth as it is. And also the battery and the engine combining really makes a smooth acceleration and a smooth power delivery, which is just fantastic. Now, like I said, handling is something to be desired, because it just drifts all over the place on the highway. I'm constantly having to correct it. If I'm flooring it, I'm really having to correct it. And this is a heavy vehicle. I don't know if you always want to be making corrections. I think I've seen a couple of things where, since I can't test it off-road, I actually have to go and look what it looks like. It seems like the steering is a little bit better on the off-road side. It's a little bit like, maybe you want more of a loose, you want more of a give on your steering for off-road driving, but really for normal roads, you don't really want to be able to wiggle the steering wheel and nothing happen. So that's kind of one of those things. But again, you're not taking this thing on the track. From point A to point B, daily driving, I'm really not noticing that much. It was just one of those things where I hopped in and I'm like, ooh, handling, ooh, okay, this is a little weird. But that's it. Really, it's so smooth, so easy to drive. These seats are really, really comfortable. I've got plenty of room in the rear seats as well that I like. I can fit my baby seat in there, no problem. And I have plenty of room behind my driver's seat as well. I do feel like the driver's seat doesn't go far back enough. That is also something that's a bit weird. I'm kind of like, I would like to go further, but I can't. So that's interesting too. But I really think that the Jeep excels when you can take the doors off. When it's really nice out, you can let the roof down. I would have loved to film a video with the roof down, but I think you would really hear the wind a lot because it really is windy here in Quebec. that's where it shines, is the summer. But I think in the winter, you're still ready for all weather. Like, I had a snowstorm here in Quebec. I didn't have to go out, but if I did, I was fully ready for anything that came at me, because this thing has got such good grip, such big winter tires. I mean, you really can't complain about that, especially in low speeds. The handling really doesn't affect you, and it would kind of be like driving off-road anyways, especially in unplowed snow. So, you know, I didn't get to drive it, but I wasn't worried about it. I have the winch. I can pull myself out of a dig. I can pull others out of things too. I've got this steel front bumper that, you know, God forbid anybody slides or backs into me, hey, I'm good. I'm good. Probably their car is going to get a lot more damage than my steel front bumper. So that's also a fantastic thing to note as well. I just love the look of it too. It's just really good. One more thing I want to mention as well is that I have kind of a regenerative braking system on board here. So like, I can let my foot off the gas. It will not come to a complete stop. It'll kind of come to a crawl, but it will put some power back into the battery. And I have like a button here where all the HVAC controls, all my controls are. I can control things in this car from the infotainment, or I can have physical buttons, which is absolutely fantastic. So I can press the little blue button here, the battery button, and it kind of will put max regeneration on. I do think there is some level of regeneration on without actually pressing the button, but this one just kind of brakes a lot heavier, puts a lot more power back into the battery for you. So yeah, overall, really great. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to sit in this driver's seat and bore you so much, because we did already cover a version of the Jeep Wrangler, but I thought, let me see, because I've never driven a Jeep in my life. And I could say that this has made a lasting long impression. I love the Jeep community. Everybody that I pass that also owns a Jeep, we're saying, hey, how you do to each other. And it's just a wonderful community to be a part of. And I think, you know, it's either you're going to go into a lot of debt or you're going to buy this thing out in cash because you're rich, but 92 grand is a lot of money with a lot of things still left to be desired. I think that is the conclusion. If you love Jeeps and you want the 4x, you want the Rubicon, you must have it. You're gonna pay for it, and there's just no two ways about it. And you're going to sacrifice. You're going to miss things. You're not gonna have a perfect $92,000 package. But I think people in the Jeep community, especially really passionate people, are just not gonna care, because it is decent on fuel. It's not as decent as some of the other plug-in hybrids we've driven this year, but still, you have that assurance, you have that nice capability. The four-wheel drive system is excellent. It's very comfortable. I'm obsessed with the looks of this thing. It's so fun to look at. The ride quality is really good too. Not a lot of bumps. You are hearing a lot of road noise, and you are going to drift a lot on the highway. You're going to have to make quite a bit of corrections, especially if you're accelerating quickly. I find myself constantly having to do that. But at low speeds, like I'm doing right now, no problem. It's a straight line and nothing's wrong, so that's good. And this is a beast, a unit when you take it off-road. I've seen videos of it, I've seen pictures, an absolute monster, a weapon on an off-road trail. And I can't wait to maybe one day be able to try that and bring you that on the channel. But for now, we're stuck with the roads, and that's gonna do it for my thoughts on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. If you liked the video, make sure that you subscribe so that we get more opportunities to maybe even take the Jeep on the trail one day. If I can ask Stellantis to do that, I need your support on this video, and let them know that you like it and you want to see more from me and the capabilities of this Jeep Wrangler. With that being said, I will see you next week, see you in the next car. Take care.